at this and you can say, oh, you're being a diva. But she had an opportunity to come here when she was in Texas, and I literally gave them an open invitation. I said, anytime. I said, if she's done at 10 o'clock, we'll come back here at 10 o'clock. I go, I'll do it at 9 in the morning. I'll do it at 10 p.m. I'll do it at midnight. If she's up. She wants to, drink a Red Bull and party on.
Yeah, but I think this idea that you're being a diva is silly because you're offering her the opportunity to do exactly what the other candidate did, right?
Well, she actually reached out when she found out that he was coming on. So their camp reached out to me. So I said, great, I would love to talk to her. But it was very difficult to tie it down, and they wanted to travel. And see, the thing is, like, you can't, if I go somewhere, then there's going to be other people in the room. And they want to control a lot of things, I'm sure, according to the Brett Breyer interview on Fox. Like, people were waving them off. That's a distraction. People in the room, like, my whole goal with her and with him is just talk. Just have a conversation like a human being. You find out things about people. You get a sense of them, at least, a real sense. That was it. I don't give a what we talk about. I really don't. I just want to talk to you. Who the are you?
Do you think...
This is an insane clip. This is exactly what Joe Rogan is saying right there. The reason why Kamala Harris didn't make it on the Joe Rogan podcast and ultimately lost the 2024 election to Donald Trump, who did go on Joe Rogan podcast eventually and made a lot of fans and had over 40 million views. Let's watch the clip together.
They think that you're on his side and they're more wary of you?
I don't know. I mean, there's... just because of my appearance, there's always been this assumption that I'm some right-wing MAGA guy, I was a Bernie supporter. I am I'm a politically homeless person, for sure. I always considered myself a left-wing person. I never thought I would ever vote right-wing. But then the tides of culture shifted in a very bizarre way. And it just made me, over time, much more aware of what this stuff is really all about. Because what this stuff is really all about is just these natural human behavior patterns and these tribal instincts that we have. And it overpowers all discussions.
I think Joe Rogan is 100% on point right there. He knows exactly what's wrong with the left. And I feel that a lot of people are feeling the same way about the left. They were liberals before, and then they realized the hypocrisy and the insanity of the left and went to the right side. Eventually, just like Joe Rogan did, just like Elon Musk did, just like Tulsi Gabbard did. It's sad to see that the Democratic Party is in trouble right now and basically going to the extreme left, unfortunately.
It overpowers what's good for the collective group. It overpowers everything. It's just people pick a team, and then whatever that team says, they can do no harm. They will do their best to marginalize the horrible effects of the furthest extreme version of that, whether it's Antifa or the Proud Boys. They'll minimalize the... It's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. If you look at what's going on with the liberals right now, so progressives they want the war in Ukraine to be funded. They want to censor speech online, and they want to give the World Health Organization, which is deeply influenced by Big Pharma, including the FDA.
And China as well.
Deeply influenced. The revolving door between the FDA and pharmaceutical drug companies is legendary. And they want to give them control over what we take and what we don't take. And that's crazy. And that doesn't make sense because that's not what the liberals were when I was a kid.
Yeah, I truly believe that the Democratic Party from before, from 20, 30 years ago, has changed. It exists no more. And what the Democratic Party stands for today is basically the donor class, the elite class, and the people who have money, the people in power. They don't work for the American people. Unfortunately, let's watch the next clip about this on the news.
Okay, gentlemen, one other thing. There was a question about why she wouldn't do the Rogan interview. And a lot of things went back and forth. And apparently Rogan wanted her in Texas, and they said, let's do it for an hour. Well, he finally answered it. Let's go ahead and play the clip from his explanation.
They had, I don't know how many conversations with my folks.
Right.
but multiple conversations, giving different dates, different times, different this, different that. And we knew that she was going to be in Texas. So I said, open invitation. I think they had requirements on things that she didn't want to talk about. She didn't want to talk about marijuana legalization, which I thought was hilarious.
Why?
Like, that's so... because of her prosecuting record, and, you know, she put a lot of people in jail for weed.
You had that, and you had this from one of the spokesmen. There was a backlash with some of our progressive staff that didn't want her to be on it, and how there would be backlash.
Yeah, ultimately, that backfired. Honestly, Kamala Harris ran a terrible campaign, if you ask me, paying people to endorse her, basically, and that's sad. Sad to see, ultimately. People so right through it and didn't vote for her, didn't vote for this crooked politician who got at the head of the Democratic Party just like that, as a Democratic candidate for the presidential election without any vote at all. She just stepped in and replaced Joe Biden, just like that, without any kind of Democratic primary. That's sad to see. That shouldn't be the case in any Democratic republic, if you ask me.
I guess there's truth in there somewhere, gentlemen. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's malpractice, right? You're worried about your staff's feelings and not, you know, getting in front of tens of millions of voters, more than watch the evening news even. And look, Rogan is a symptom of a larger cause, right? I don't think doing Rogan would suddenly win her the election, but it spoke to a mindset of playing it safe, of keeping her from a lot of interviews for most of the campaign, of not taking risks, of not saying, hey, let's figure out 3 things where we can separate ourselves from the historically unpopular president in our party, of, hey, let's cater to this interest identity group and that interest identity group instead of trying to win voters and build the broadest tent possible. Look, Rogan in itself didn't lose the election, but it was a mindset that informed all of that did.
My feeling.
Yeah, ultimately, I think it's the combination of many factors that made Donald Trump win. He got the support of Elon Musk. He got a lot of money from Elon Musk. He got the support of Elon Musk from the X platform as well. Elon Musk is now a very powerful and influential figure, if you ask me, and it definitely helped tip the balance in favor of Donald Trump. And then there was some assassination attempt on Donald Trump, which showed him as a courageous and brave man. It humanizes him a lot, and people saw how much of a great leader he could become. And then you had the support of many people that left the Democratic Party for Donald Trump. Like Tulsi Gabbard, like Robert Kennedy, like Elon Musk, and many, many more. And all of this combined together. J.D. Vance as well did a great job during the debate. All of this together made Donald Trump the winning candidate. And that was totally normal. If you ask me, that was completely predictable, much in advance, months before the election. I believe it was predictable, and the Democratic Party did poorly. Let's hear this clip from Sky News.
The world's biggest podcast host, Joe Rogan, has exposed a list of Kamala Harris's demands in order to appear on his show. Following the hugely successful podcast interview between Joe Rogan and Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, which was viewed 38 million times and counting, there have been calls for Kamala Harris to sit down with Joe Rogan in the same long-form interview style. Nothing has been locked in, but Joe Rogan released a statement on X outlining communication between him and the Harris camp with a list of their requests for the interview. He said, also for the record, the Harris campaign has not passed on doing the podcast. They offered a date for Tuesday, but I would have had to travel to her and they only wanted to do an hour. I strongly feel the best way to do it is in the studio in Austin. My sincere wish is to just have a nice conversation and get to know her as a human being. I really hope we can make it happen.
And this is exactly the problem why Kamala Harris did not do the interview ultimately. There were simply too many demands. It was too much scripted, basically. They probably wanted to have the question in advance and wouldn't want to do an unscripted interview for this Kamala Harris Democratic puppet of the left, puppet of the elite people, puppet of the donor class. And it's sad that she would not be able to talk about her and have basically a nice conversation. She is not capable of doing that, unfortunately. And ultimately, people saw right through it and didn't vote for her in the end. So
really hope we can make it happen. This statement attracted a huge response from online commentators, with Charlie Kirk saying, "America deserves 3 hours with Kamala and Joe Rogan unscripted. Hope it happens and she stops trying to dictate the terms. You have a format, it works. She should stop trying to change it, just like America." And this commentator doubled down, saying, "In studio is the only way. Let the whole world see the real Kamala Harris. What are they scared of?" The request to change the normal Joe Rogan Experience podcast interview terms comes after Donald Trump slammed his opponent, saying she wouldn't be able to make it through a 3-hour-long conversation.
One of the things I like about doing a show like this, can you imagine Kamala doing this show?
I could imagine her doing this show.
She'd be laying on the floor.
She was supposed to do it, and she might still do it, and I hope she does.
She's not going to do it.
I will talk to her like a human being. I would try to have a conversation with her.
If she did this kind of an interview with you, I hope she does, because it would be a mess. She'd be laying on the floor comatose. You'd be saying, call in the medics.
I think we'd have a fine conversation. I think I'd be able to talk to her. I wouldn't try to interview her. I'd just try to have a conversation with her and hopefully get to know her as a human being. That was my goal, having her on. Trying to get her to express herself just as I don't know if I don't think these formats are good. I don't think that two people, first of all, I hate the idea of the presidential debates because I hate the idea of a time limitation on complex ideas. Also, you have to break.
I think you have to have the debates, though.
And whilst Kamala Harris's camp tries to negotiate terms with Rogan, Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance has seized on the publicity opportunity and will appear on the #1 podcast.
yeah, I think J.D. Vance did a great job during the campaign. It wasn't a great pick in the beginning, and he made many mistakes at first, but then he finally won people over, and people are very happy now to have J.D. Vance as at the side of Donald Trump in the White House. Let me know what you think about this, and thanks for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and click right there to watch the next video, and I will see you there. Bye bye.